Okay, we're recording.
All right.
Forged in Idaho, our podcast. I'm here with Marshall Gallager, and I've inserted myself into your office because we go around and we find all the guys in whatever they're working on, and we talk to them about whatever they're working on. And so it's funny to move into this setting, but I do really want to feature the project management division within Forged Construction. So we'll be talking to all of you guys, and then we'll actually move into talking to our in-house design division. So like all of these things contribute to a smooth process of completing whatever the project is, small or large, right? Talk to me, Marshall, as a project manager. If somebody wants to build a house or even just wants to do their kitchen remodel, how much do selections affect the project?
Well, I mean, huge.
Right.
Is a simple answer. I always try to. I like to try to figure out what their selections are, get a rough idea of what direction they're going, because kind of everything is based on that. If they have, depending on what their budget is, depending on how much they're willing to spend versus what they want, they can very quickly derail a project, or it can set up for success. So I think that's probably the most important part, is just what direction they want to go with theirs. You need to know that, and then you need to know what their budget is to make sure you can even move forward.
Right. And you've certainly had a lot of experience in that. Talk little bit about your background in coaching people through these things. So previous to here, you've worked other construction outfits. You've ran your own outfit. What are some of the things that you find to be most important at the inception of a project? Like first one, you've kind of alluded to it, is how much do you really want to spend?
Yeah. So I try to lead with that question when I meet with a customer, because I think it's really important. We don't want to waste anybody's time. If somebody comes to me and they want to build a 3,000 square foot house and they have a $300,000 budget, there's pretty much no way I can make that work. So out the get-go, I can let them know. Maybe they don't, and then we can kind of start going through not just specific selections, but also selections of what it is they do and don't need in their home. Maybe they don't need a 3,000 square foot house. Maybe that's just what they thought they needed. Maybe there's more to the piece. Maybe they already have the property, and they already have the well, and they already have the power, and they have a foundation, and they have $300,000 to finish the project. So you got to gather all that information at the start, and then moving forward from there. Once you kind of get the big picture, make sure that we're both kind of talking the same language, then you can start digging into specifics to see what we can and can't do.
So that kind of unpacks something that we're always saying to people, which is we'd love to be involved as soon as possible.
Yes.
Right. So unpack that a little bit.
Yeah. So it's been a kind of a standard, I guess, sales pitch, if you will, when people reach out to us and they say, hey, this is what we want to do. This is what we're thinking. I kind of will give them rough numbers, rough ideas, and then I pitch them off to one of our designers that we work with. We are now developing our in-house design, which is really nice, but we haven't had that up until this point. And for a long time, I would give people the option of like, hey, I can be involved in the design process for you, or you can just go and get it designed, and then I'll come in after the fact and give you a bid. And I'm pretty much just taking that option away. I've been moving forward and making people be involved in the design, because the amount of times I, as a contractor, have been shot in the foot, where the home, we talk about it, we set our goals, we set our expectations, and then they go to the designer, and the designer fills their head with fantastical things that are way outside of their budget, and then they come back to me, and then I have to be the bearer of bad news. I've just made it to the point now where I'll walk through the design with them so that we don't run into that hiccup. They're not paying to have something designed that they can't afford. Most of what I do is I don't generally get the clients where they have no budget and they just do whatever they want. Like it's hard to build nowadays. And so most of the work that I do is kind of figuring out how we can meet in the middle and accommodate people and help them out.
What do you think forged construction has to offer that is a unique way of increasing the efficiency? So, like, why can we compete and bring prices down?
So I think volume is a huge thing. We're a large company and we're able to produce a large amount, and volume allows us to negotiate prices with our subcontractors. We have a lot in house, so we can control the market being in house. We also are enthusiastic about helping people, which I think is a huge thing. So, I mean, I just got off the phone with the customer and she was like, well, I'm a sales rep for drywall and insulation. She's like, can I source my own materials? And I was like, absolutely. And she's like, I have a really good relationship with an electrician. Like, am I able to bring in my own electrician to this because I can save money? And I'm like, yes, like anything that we can help you with to save money, we're definitely willing to do that. And I know a lot of contractors that aren't willing to. It does make the build process more difficult, but that's my job and that's my responsibility. And I am able to help people because we're willing to do that for them.
Yeah, I mean, people wonder why they need a project manager. Like, why does a person need to sit at a computer and do work? Like, all the work's out there. Like, what is important and what can go severely awry in a project if it's not well managed?
I mean, from a very service level, just the timeline is a huge one. You can get a project that should have taken you 6 months if things are managed appropriately and put on schedules. I've seen things go 2 years on poorly managed projects, but it kind of gets a little bit more nitty gritty than that. Poor quality. Even with like the subs that we work with that are just really top-notch subs, get missed, things get screwed up. As soon as something gets missed, say something goes wrong with the plumbing and we get the drywall in there, well, then now we are ripping drywall off, and it starts really complicating the schedule, or the quality of work can drastically go down. Projects getting unfinished, running out of their time frame with financing, because a lot of banks give windows for financing to get done. In the long run, I think a poorly managed project ends up costing you considerably more than it costs to pay somebody to manage your project well.
Right. What do you think are the things that have just made you love the job that you do as a project manager?
Well, I think primarily getting to work with people. So before, I worked in construction all through college, and then I had applied for nursing school and was working at the hospital as a CNA, and had decided to go to nursing school to help take care of people. But I was working construction on the side for myself. And at that point, I was married. I had 2 kids. We had another one on the way. And I realized like I need like this. I don't have time to go for another 4 years of college. So I decided to stop and start construction, because what I realized through that was I was getting to work with people. It's not the same type of help, but it's the idea of getting to work with people and being there and making their dreams reality, helping them, also helping people figure out what they need. So many people I work with do not know what they want. Like, they have some pictures and they're just kind of like, they just kind of dump something in my lap, and I'm the one that gets to sift through, organize it all, and then present it to them in something that makes sense and something that they're excited about.
Yeah, the nobility of just work in general is something that people are really starting to appreciate once again. It kind of started when we were younger. I mean, I know I grew up watching Dirty Jobs and Micro, and that has been building until now. There really is not a workforce to keep up with the needs of our modern America, right? Yeah. Like, there's just not enough people doing any of the trades. Yeah. And certainly the growth of interest in the trades is growing, right? But there's ultimately still just not enough people.
No.
And, Forged Construction and our relationships with the people that do the work is probably one of our greatest attributes. We have good drywallers, we have good carpenters that work for us, we have good cabinet makers, but also too, if we have to close a gap, we can do that in house with our own people.
Yep.
And that's something that I think is going to become more and more important over the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about being on a team?
Just growing from different people, realizing that everybody has unique aspects that they bring to our team, and when you see somebody be really successful at something, it's really exciting I get excited for their success, but then also getting to learn from them and apply it to myself so that I'm able to grow.
Yeah.
So, and then also, like almost contrary to that, in tandem, the competition that goes along with that too. Wanting to be the best always, there's a really healthy level of competition among our guys.
Yeah. Cool. Final thoughts. What do you want to do long term as a designer, builder, contractor? Where do you see yourself going?
I think just the same trajectory I've been doing, but just more. I would love to. I don't want to grow to the point where I lose sight of the individual customers, but having the ability to serve more people on a larger scale is exciting for me.
Yeah, let's talk about, as we lose people, we have the need to innovate how to do more with less, right? What are the things that you're having to do with software, with AI, all of those things? How do you leverage those in your work as a project manager?
The biggest software that we use is Builder-Trend, and then I use AI on a regular basis for kind of a little bit more of the mindless secretarial work that I would do, all the contract writing, descriptions, even if I'm trying to put together a comprehensive plan for somebody, I will use AI to get me a kind of a baseline that I can then manipulate to fit me specifically. I think it's crucial moving forward for us to be relevant in this day and age that we take advantage of these softwares. I also have AI softwares that can do full elevations on houses with a couple photos. So I can do takeoffs if I want a siding job. I can do a takeoff in an hour or less with a couple photos from my phone, where it used to be I'd have to go out there with the tape, I'd have to draw everything out, I'd have to get it all measured. It was a whole process. And so being willing to take advantage of technology and use it to our betterment, I think allows us to be a lot more efficient and produce at a lot higher rate without sacrificing a personal relationship with customers.
Yeah. How about somebody that is in the trades lower end and they're looking at your position and they're thinking, man, I can't wait to be that guy. I can't wait to not be wet all day. I can't wait to not work in the cold. What would you say to those people? What's the right pathway to grow? Everybody should want to grow. But what's the right pathway to growing in a healthy fashion?
So I guess I would say pay attention to like everything, and specifically problems, especially if you're a lower end guy and you see that there's somebody's problem solving. Ask questions how they're problem solving, because that is a huge. All the forward facing work that I do with customers is about half the job, and then the other half is inward facing problem solving, coming up with solutions. Every house is different. You run into stuff. So really pay attention to those so that you get that experience problem solving quick. And then the other big thing I would say is work on being willing to talk to customers, follow up with customers at the end of the day, have good communication, because you have to be able to communicate with people. And I know that's like a kitschy saying that everybody says, except for communication is such a unique and complicated aspect of like human interaction. And if you are truly not good at it, and you cannot read a room, or you cannot read what your customers want, or you don't fully understand and or are able to clearly communicate all of the expectations, you will not be successful as a project manager. Like it'll be an uphill battle nonstop. So I'd say pay attention to little things, work hard, and focus on clear communication and forward-facing follow-up with your customer at the end of the day. Just say, hey, we did this today. Tomorrow we're going to do this, and start getting that practice, because it can be really uncomfortable a lot of times for people in the trades.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for being one of ours, and we appreciate you sitting down and talking with me.
Absolutely.
All right.